All right, guys, welcome back to TD Sports Talk. Right now, I've decided to do a Miami Dolphins prediction video, and this is the prediction on what we're going to end the season record with. I did a brief analysis on every single game that we're going to be playing. Then I'm just going to explain a little bit about why I think we're either going to win or lose the game. And at the end, we should come up with a record for the Dolphins. I like to think that this is pretty realistic. I know some people watching will probably say it's not realistic. Some people will say, hey, this is very doable. But I'm very optimistic about our season because I believe that we are going to the Super Bowl this year. So before I get into it, I just want to give you a few givens so you understand why I made the decisions that I made. Um, I am operating off of the assumption that the Dolphins finally put it together. And when I say finally, it's been a long time coming. I think that this is Adam Gase's team. Finally, all the personalities are gone, and we get to see what Adam Gase's coaching really looks like. So if it ends up being a failure this year, then to me it tells me maybe this isn't for Adam Gase. If it ends up to be the success that I believe it's going to be, because I do believe in Gase, then it tells me that we should end up this way based off of the record that I'm going to give you at the end. But we're going to go through each game. We're going to talk a little bit about each one and go from there. But we'll start out, all right? Let's go ahead and get into it. We'll start out game number one, Miami Dolphins versus the Tennessee Titans. Now, last year, the Tennessee Titans ended the season at 9-7. You have Marcus Mariota, who it's his fourth year. They do have a new offensive coordinator now. So you can kind of look at maybe an adjusted offense, a new offense. But they also have a young receiving crew. And that plays in the favor of the Dolphins because Mariota also was hurt. So Mariota has some injuries. So to me, it's the battle of Mariota versus Tannehill. And some people may argue with this, but I'm going to pick Tannehill in that battle any day. Not to mention their right tackle just came off of ACL surgery. So 9-7 Tennessee Titans last year. It all hinges on their quarterback, but I just like how we're poised to start our season. I think that our defense is going to be much greater this year, especially with the additions in the draft. With Minkah Fitzpatrick, this would be an opportunity for us to open up blitz packages, and what better way with the quarterback who didn't have much playing time to get up and at him and Mariota. So this is to be the opportunity to stun them starting out the season, and for us Miami Dolphins to pick up momentum. I do have the Miami Dolphins getting that W starting the season 1-0. Yeah, I mean, you can't start it any other way. 1-0 is the way to start the season. You don't want to start with a L in the win-loss column because it can really psychologically start to impact your team early on. All right. Before we even go further, I want to mention about our schedule. The first part of our schedule is somewhat friendly. What I like to think is very friendly, based off of the opponents we have. I alluded to it in another video that I believe the first 12 weeks of the season, we have the best pass defense opponents. Not best as in they're good, but we play against the worst pass defense opponents based all together. So Ryan Tannehill has a huge advantage in those first 12 games. But I will tell you, true, after the back end of our season is not going to be pretty. But we'll talk about that as we get to it. Let's move ahead to week two. Going into week two, 1-0, we played the New York Jets. They ended their season last year at 5-11. It's New York Jets. It's a division game, so we already know it's going to be tough. I keep alluding to, if we're going to be the team that we say that we're going to be, and we're going to be elite, then the Miami Dolphins have to beat Buffalo and the New York Jets. We have to sweep those series because we should be. If we're going to be elite like we say we are, we have to start sweeping those two teams. Okay? So, again, this video is based off of us being that team that we should be. All right? So we should be beating the New York Jets in week two. They don't even know who their quarterback is going to be. They have competition. They brought in the rookie Sam Darnold. I mean, reports out of camp is that he's looking good. But it's too much drama in New York. They don't know if Sam's going to start. I mean, you got him in the first, you got him early in the draft, so he should start. But we don't know. And then on top of it, they've had 8 arrests in the last year and a half. Eight times a player for the New York Jets have been arrested in the last year and a half. So they're surrounded with drama. I think you all know this is where the Dolphins came from. We used to be surrounded with drama. I'm glad that we've kind of gotten out of that hemisphere of drama, and it looks like the Jets are going through it now. So you got a team who was 5-11 last year, don't know who their starting quarterback is going to be. Even if it is the rookie, that's good for us. So it's good to have a rookie, second game of the year, with the defensive line that we have. That's going to be beautiful. And they just have too much going on. We better take care of business. So I have the Dolphins starting out the season 2-0 automatically. Then we have the Oakland Raiders, okay? Oakland Raiders last year, another one, 6-10 team, okay? They have problems as well. You know, their defensive end, Khalil Mack, is holding out. You know, these holdouts, once they get their money, they come back. But, you know, for my sake, I hope they continue to have drama on that front. You know, they brought in John Gruden. Reports out of camp is that Gruden, basically their defense is going to be a lot of pressure, but they're going to leave it man to man. I like that because this is the year I think we need to air the ball out. We're going to have that 1-2 punch at the running back position, but I think that we need to spread that ball out, hurry up offense, getting the defense on their heels. So the more that they have their linebackers and defensive linemen pressuring the quarterback, this gives Tannehill that opportunity to play in somewhat of a Brady-type system, getting that ball out of his hand quick, loading up with receivers. So that's a lot of reports coming out of their camp that they're pretty much going to be bringing a lot of pressure and a lot of man-to-man. I think that works in the Dolphins' favor. Yet to be seen, but I think that helps us. Their tackle position is an issue as well. I don't know if a rookie is going to be able to fill those shoes. So they have some questions that they have to answer as well. New coach, a lot going on down in Oakland. They're supposed to be moving to Vegas. Just a lot going on. Once again, I think the Dolphins start the year 3-0. And Dolphin Nation, we're going to be standing up. We're going to be pumped. We're going to be excited for our team. 3-0 Miami Dolphins. This is the year. We have to get behind them at this point more than ever. Why? Because week 4, we go up to New England to play the Patriots. Going to New England, if we're going in 3-0, everybody has to be on board. The team, coach, owner, and the fans above all. When you buy those tickets, get up to New England. I'm probably not going to be up there, I'll be honest. But at the end of the day, we have to rally behind our team. I don't care if it's during the week, pumping them up, whatever it is, hitting up their Twitter accounts, Instagram accounts. You know, I'm going to look forward to you having a great game. Do whatever we have to do because game 4, to me, is a deciding factor in the season. You start out 3-4 and you take a loss right there, it starts to feel like more of the same. More of the past. Let me tell you why the Dolphins can't take a loss and why they have a great chance of actually getting that W. Number 1, we go to New England first this year. Usually we're playing up there and it's snowing late in the year. Every other year we flip-flop, but this is the year where we go up there early and you still got great weather. We're not playing in their element, okay? More of our element, okay? Now, not only that, you got Julian Edelman, what is he, facing suspension for 4 games, and this is his last game of suspension. With Brady, with all this new receiving core, we can only hope that they don't gel like they always usually do. I like having Minkah Fitzpatrick. Now we can get more exotic looks on defense. We can actually probably give Gronkowski a little run for his money. Finally give them some issues. This is the game where we have to get it done. But it's not just defense because Brady's going to be Brady. Let's expect that. If he's not, that's a plus for us. But let's be realistic. Brady's going to be Brady. We have to score points. Now, I think that our defense might start to generate points for us as well, but we have to score points, guys. So this is the coming out party for the offense as far as a real test. But I do think that the Miami Dolphins finally, we go in there early in the year and we get that W. We get that W, okay? We get it, and we start the season 4-0. Now, what that's going to do for our team is build us as high as we need to be, okay? Because we next actually go to Cincinnati. We play the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, they ended season 7-9 last year, and their first round pick, Billy Price, tore his pectoral muscle, and they still went out and drafted him. I think that's a huge plus for the Dolphins, but we don't know how that's going to turn out. But the Cincinnati Bengals, they beat our behind 2 years ago in 2016. That was the year we actually went 10-6. I'll be honest with you, we don't have their number, guys. We do not have their number. They do expect linebacker Vontaze Burfict to be suspended, just like Julian Edelman, but for 4 games as well. So he's going to be coming back fresh, a fresh linebacker, eager to play. That's kind of tough for us. You know, you got a linebacker coming off suspension. He comes back first game ready to play. It's already a team that gives us trouble. 1+ is their first round pick. You know, is coming off a pectoral muscle. Rookie. That's a plus. But at the end of the day, we face our first loss, in my opinion. This is where we get our first loss. AJ Green, he aggravated me in his reports. Said, you know, he feels he didn't have a good year, even though he had 1,000 yards, over 1,000 yards. We get our first loss, guys. Not that they're better than us, but we go on the road dealing with a team that we haven't figured out. We don't play them much. And they're not a bad team. Yeah, they were 7-9 last year, but they're not a bad team. So I have that slated as our first loss on the road. I just think our victory with the Patriots on the road is going to be so high that, you know, it's going to be one of those relief type things, and we'll probably let our guard down. Even if we don't let our guard down, I just think week 5 is one of those tough weeks for us. But then we go into week 6 with a little bit of relief playing the Chicago Bears. They ended the season last year at 5-11. Both of their guards are coming back from injury. They have an upgraded wide receiver core. They have a good tight end, but they're still young at quarterback. They got Trubisky, if that's how you say it. I just really think the Chicago Bears, same story, different year. Same story, different year. If we're going to be that team we say that we're going to be, that's going to be a tough game, but we come out with the victory. We come out with the win. We come out with that W because we're the Miami Dolphins. Okay? Despite you feeling like you got a better team, our defensive line is coming at Trubisky. Okay? We're coming at this young quarterback, especially since you haven't even figured out your guard situation. Both guards are coming back from injury. We take that game. We take it, and we take the W, and we start our season with 5-1. Now, the Dolphins are going to start the season with 5-1, and that's where it gets tricky because a lot of years we've had some good records starting out, 6-2, 5-2, all type of great records. Now the NFL finally wants to mention our name. They'll mention our name after that Pats win, but they still won't mention it big time. But when we get that W, they're going to start mentioning our name. Are the Dolphins serious? Is Adam Gates the answer? Is Tannehill back sharp? They're going to have all these, you know, rhetorical questions. They're going to start, hey, is the Dolphins here? Usually we don't respond, guys. But this is the year we're going to the Super Bowl, so we finally respond. And we go into week 7 playing the Detroit Lions. The NFL is probably going to be up. They're going to say, you know, hey, the Dolphins have their biggest test. This will tell if they're serious or not. Most analysts are still going to have us as the underdog. They're going to pick us to lose. Last year, Detroit ended at 9-7. They got the new coach and Matt Patricia coming from New England, who's dealing with his little allegations of sexual assault back in '96. But, you know, he's maintaining his innocence, and he was innocent then. He says he's innocent now. So we'll put all of that to the past. We'll focus on football. So Matt Patricia, He's Belichick's protege. If I saw special on ESPN, they were looking at Belichick's proteges. Man, Belichick's proteges are terrible. When they get head coaching jobs, I looked at the record of almost every single one of them. They are terrible, and I hope that continues with Patricia. But thank you, Detroit Lions, for Akeem Spence. He had his best year last year, and we seem to be able to get him for only a 7th-round pick to add even more depth and starting ability on the defensive line. I think oh my gosh, our defensive line is, I think this is that beast year. We're just going to give everybody problems. We're going to give them hell. We're just going to be up and at them. I'm just excited. Mika Fitzpatrick in the back, making more relief in the secondary, allowing us to get off at the quarterback. I just can't wait, guys. We're going to beat the Detroit Lions. That's going to be the coming out party for the Miami Dolphins. That's going to be the world saying, whoa, the Miami Dolphins are 6-1. They're 6-1. And they're looking good. They're looking sharp. And what helps us even more is that after that week, we go to Houston. We have Houston Texans on the schedule. They were 4-12 last year. Not saying that the record means anything, because look at us. We were terrible last year. But the Houston Texans, quarterback Deshaun Watson coming off of ACL. See, I just picked Tannehill to win any battle off of any quarterback coming off of anything, because that's how much confidence I have in Tannehill. If our offensive line does what they have to do, Tannehill is a beast. People don't understand that. They want to point the finger at Tannehill when he had to deal with an offensive line for so many years that was trash. Okay? Just period. They were trash. Let's call it what it is. And every time this man had time to throw the ball, he showed up and showed out. So I don't like when people talk about Tannehill, but let me get off of that. But we go play Houston, Texas. Lamar Miller's running the ball out there. He used to be a Dolphins. Thanks for your service. He was a good running back for us. Now, their defense is legit. But will their offense help them? Their defense is legit, but I still think Tannehill is gonna do what he has to do, because this is that year for him. But will the offense help them? And I don't think so against our defense. Our defense will be a top defense this year. Top 5. I said it. You heard it here on TD Sports Talk. Top 5 defense this year, okay? And that's a victory that we get. Now, Houston Texans, I think they're going to be a really good team, playoff contender. But we're going to get that victory. People are going to look at that victory. Well, last year they were 4-12. Well, as they go through the season and they win their games, people will see that was a good victory for the Dolphins as well. Then we have Week 9, New York Jets. Not even going to talk about it. More of the same. Don't even know who their quarterback is, okay? And all 8 players arrested in the last year and a half. If we're going to be the elite team that we say we're going to be, we have to take care of business, okay? That's another W. So now we have the Miami Dolphins starting the season at 8-1. Who would have ever thought? I know everybody looking at this video right now, a lot of people are probably like, yeah, wishful thinking. Miami Dolphins 8-1 starting the season. All right. Now we go into Week 10. Before I even say it, hey, we take a loss, okay? We play the Green Bay Packers, who ended the season last year 7-9. Only thing I have to say about it is, hey, they don't have Jordy Nelson anymore, but we're talking about Aaron Rodgers. This is the redemption season of Aaron Rodgers. He's taking names. He's going through the NFL this year. He's already one of the favorite for MVP. I do have us slated for a loss, just given the fact that, first off, we're going to Green Bay. What a hostile environment to play in. The weather's starting to shift, by the way. But we're going to Green Bay. And then the crowd is going to be crazy. Aaron Rodgers being Aaron Rodgers. When you got a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, anything's possible. Now, if the Dolphins can squeak out that victory, boy, excited would be an understatement. I don't even know how to explain it. But, in a realistic world, my predictions, I do have us slated for a loss against the Green Bay Packers. I don't even want to go too much in detail about it. I'll just say Aaron Rodgers. Not saying that, Tannehill can't keep up. But at the end of the day, that experience, we take an L, guys. Aaron Rodgers. Okay. But the good thing about that L is we go into our bye week the very next week. So we start our season at 8-2. We start our season at 8-2. So 8-2, 10 games in with 6 games left. 6 games. 2 more wins kind of guarantees you the playoffs. Kind of, it depends unless it's a crazy year. But 2 more wins should get us in the playoffs. 6-2. But guys, this is where it gets tough. The Miami Dolphins after the bye, this is where it gets tough. We come in right after the bye. I don't even know if this game is tough because we played the Indianapolis Colts. They ended the season last year at 4-12. But we all know what happened with Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck is back now. I know I said earlier, hey, I put any quarterback. Tannehill's injury, their injury coming back, I got Tannehill. I got Tannehill in this one too. But it's not going to be an easy one. This is the closest one it can be. This is the closest it can be because Andrew Luck is no one to play with. He has that it factor. Andrew Luck is a man when it comes to football. And if you don't know anything about Andrew Luck, just go back and look at him. Just go back and look at the film. He is one of those players that turned out to be what you expected him to be, which was amazingly great. It's just injuries have plagued him. His back injuries have plagued him for so long now. But you don't know what you're going to get. But out of camp, there's a lot of great signs right now that he's looking better than ever. I don't believe the better than ever. You hear all these great things out of camp, and then when season starts, all hell breaks loose. But it's Andrew Luck. I'm not going to put anything past this guy. I mean, even with that being said, I think the Dolphins still get a W because their team is not that much different. Now, don't get me wrong. Here's why I say it's tough though, because the offensive line even got better. They even wasted their top draft picks on the offensive line. Okay, so you get a great Andrew Luck coming back with more protection. They went all out for Andrew Luck. But the rest of the team is still the same. Their defensive end, McCain, is in trouble. So we don't know what that's going to turn out to be. He's a pretty good player, but I think the Dolphins will get the W, but that's going to be a stronger win than people think. Just like the Houston Texans, they're going to win a lot of games this year, and people aren't going to appreciate that W until they see their record. But they may appreciate it by then because the Colts will be about 11 games in. So they'll be able to see that that's a great team. But I do have the W. That's 9-2 for the Miami Dolphins. I know me saying that right now probably has some people 9-2 to start the season, but when you see it happen, listen. As the season goes, we're gonna pick up believers. That's all we're gonna do. We're gonna pick up more and more believers because we're going to the Super Bowl. All right. After that, we go to Buffalo. I don't want to talk much about Buffalo because I hate Buffalo. I hate the Jets and I despise New England. But Buffalo, they ended the season 9-7. That looked really good last year. But let me tell you why we're going to sweep Buffalo Bills. They're trash, okay? I think last year was a fluke, partially because of Miami. But it will be a tough matchup because it's division. That's always the case. They don't even know who's starting at quarterback. They picked Josh Allen in the first round, but they got him on the depth chart in camp as the third quarterback. Then they say he has a chance to work his way up, but then the experience might lead their other quarterback to they trying to figure it out. They don't even know who's going to start. Then you got Incognito, who was an ex-Dolphin, and thank God we don't have him anymore because he, with the bullying, all it's just crazy stuff he was doing for the Miami. We got rid of that drama. Now he says the feds are following him, but if he does have some type of mental disability or something like that, I definitely wish him the best because mental illness is serious and is serious out in this world today. But they have their issues. Now he's free to come back and play in the NFL. The Bills released him, though, so nothing to do with that. But their offensive line is shaky. And their wide receiver core, they have the worst in the league. Their wide receivers are the worst wide receivers. In my opinion, they are the worst in the league. They broke records on their stats on how bad they were. Dolphins run through them. We have to run. And to me, they didn't fix the problem. They didn't upgrade it to a number one elite receiver and better O-line. Listen, the Dolphins are going to sweep the Buffalo Bills this year, and this is the year we have to get it done. That takes us to 10-2 on the season. Before we play them again, and I'll get to that, but we're 10-2 at this point, taking us right back to New England late in the season. But that's it, guys. We're going to take an L. They're going to come to Miami in our elements, and that's a plus for us. but we're going to take an L. It's late season Pats. It's Tom Brady. It's probably going to be jockeying for playoff position, because if the Dolphins' record is what I say it is at this point, they're going to be playing their best football, because they have lived off of destroying the AFC East and getting a 1 seed and taking the easiest path to the Super Bowl there is. Just like LeBron James in the Eastern Conference of the NBA. He has lived off of taking advantage of a weak conference and having the easiest path to an NBA Finals. So it's no different. That's what the Patriots do, but this is the year they will feel threatened. And guess who's threatening them? The Miami Dolphins. Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking, but hey, TD Sports Talk, if we're supposed to be elite like we say we are, then why aren't we taking care of business against them then as well? Because we're not. No team was undefeated last year. No team lost only one game. So at the end of the day, teams are going to lose. The Miami Dolphins, I'll be honest with you, I think complacency somewhat may even set in. We're going to be feeling so good about ourselves with the record that we have at that point that it's too dangerous for us. And at that point, we go 10-3. The Patriots in our home, because we took it in their home earlier in the year, they're going to come return the favor, all right? Then we go, I told you it was going to get rough at the end of the year, guys. Then we have the Minnesota Vikings, who ended the year last year at 13-3. Kirk Cousins is going to be starting at the helm. They have a top defense. I think this is the first time that we, other than the Patriots, we get that punch. We get that shock where we actually come to try to win a game and a team resets and adjusts us and punches us in the mouth and tells us, hey, you're doing good this year. And yeah, you lost to the Pats last week, but your mentality, or what's the word I'm trying to find? Your confidence isn't broken from losing to the Pats, but they're gonna deliver that confidence punch, not a negative one though, one that says, let's not feel like just because we're 10-3, we're good, because now we're 10-4. So that's going to be that loss that helps us go into the playoffs the right way, going into the next game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I can tell you now, Dolphin fans, I've heard some people's videos, predictions, and things like that. They already have the Jacksonville Jaguars slotted as a loss in the win-loss column. That is a huge W for the Miami Dolphins that we will get. The Jacksonville Jaguars ended last year at 10-6. Blake Bortles at the helm. They have a top defense. But I like to think that the Dolphins are going to be the Jacksonville of last year, because that's the role that we're trying to take. Our offense is going to be better in that game. I know it. They have a top defense, but our offense is going to be better, and our defense is going to be what their defense was last year, one of the top defenses in the NFL. This is that game that gets us back on track and say we're ready to go into the playoffs and do what we need to do. The Miami Dolphins are here and we are back, and that is going to be the victory that clinches our playoff spot, clinches it. And the sports nation says we need to pay attention to these Miami Dolphins. That is going to be the game that the Miami Dolphins shock the world, and they finally not get on the bandwagon, because they never want to get on the Miami Dolphin bandwagon, but they finally pay attention and give us a chance. And we can't blow it this time, because I think that the Dolphins this year will be the Jaguars of last year, just that we're going to win the Super Bowl. And we're going to end the last game of the season versus the Buffalo Bills, and I already saying it is more of the same. They don't even know what their quarterback situation is. Their offensive line is their wide receivers are the worst in the NFL. They set records again last year on wide receiving numbers that were just terrible. Records. I already said it. I'm going to keep saying it. The Jets and the Bills, we have to sweep if we're going to be that elite team, and we're going to get it done this year. That is going to end the Miami Dolphins with a 12-4 season. And 12-4 in the AFC. Will it win the AFC East? An alarm going off. Will it win the AFC East? It's so crazy that I can't even say yes. because you still got the Patriots. Is it going to win the AFC? Who knows? But I tell you what it will do. It's going to get us our first round bye. Because I think that we're going by sweeping Buffalo and the Jets and splitting that game with New England, we're going to win the AFC East. But will it win the AFC? I don't know. But we're going to finally get a first round bye. We're going to finally get some of that Patriots action of having the easiest road to the Super Bowl. Just like LeBron James in the Eastern Conference, always the easiest road. Finally, the Miami Dolphins going into the playoffs 12-4, first round bye, home field advantage. We get a game at home, and if that happens, I'll be there. We get a game at home. We're Super Bowl bound. This is Super Bowl time. The Miami Dolphins will end their regular season with a 12-4 record. Guys, I want you to tell me what you think about the 12-4. Tell me if you think that it's going to be even better, if you like the prediction that I have, or if it's going to be worse. But tell me why. Don't say it's going to be worse, but tell me why it's going to be worse. I want to know. Because I really believe this is how it's going to play out. And we know some things may change, but this is the mindset. This is how these games are going to go, in my opinion, based off of what I know about these other teams and our team. We're Super Bowl bound, guys. This is what it's going to take, to get there. We don't need to go after wild card. We need divisional win. We need first round bye. Home field advantage. So y'all tell me what y'all think. Dolphins to the Super Bowl. Like the video. Make sure you subscribe. Stay tuned. If you have any questions or if you have any suggestions or things that you want me to do a video on, let me know. Put it down in the comment section. I'm here. This is Dolphin Nation standing up. We're going to the Super Bowl, guys. You're going to hear it every single time. All right. And again, thank you, all my subscribers. I'm finally over 100 subscribers and counting. There are several people joining every single day. We're going to take Dolphins Nation higher than it's ever been. We're going to get back to those 72 Dolphin days when we were winning Super Bowls. All right. And 73 Dolphins when we at least went to the Super Bowl. All right. So we got to get back there. And that's where we're going to start, here at TD Sports Talk. I'm out, guys.